Greetings and welcome to Astronomy at Hack. In this video, I will walk through just some of the basic controls of Starry Night version 7 that we'll be using in the astronomy classes. When you install it, you should see your screen should come up something like I show you here. You should see the sky guide on the left-hand side and then a screen on the right. Now, one of the first things that you can do, and it will give you a lot more information than I can possibly give you here, is the tutorial. If you click on the tutorial button, it'll give you a whole number of things as to how to control the cursors, the time and date, your location, etc. All of the various information there in terms of navigating it. So, if you're not sure on anything, I do recommend that you go through that tutorial. However, in the meantime, I can show you some of the basic controls, and let's look first of all over here at the right hand side. I wanted to show you these sections. There are three little buttons here which show the different panels that you can open up. In this case, it's highlighted showing that the sky guide panel is on. Now, if we want to be able to see the fuller screen, we can turn that off and see the entire screen. The middle one we really don't use a whole lot for my class at least. That's a graph that you can toggle on and off at the bottom. And then you can toggle your search results. You can turn on a right bar which will show search results and give you a chance to highlight or find specific objects. And you can turn that off as well. Now, some of the basic things here, first of all, this is the cursor, what you want to be able to do with it. If you click on the cursor, there is an adaptive one, which is what it defaults to. But in some cases, you'll need an angular separation tool, which will allow you to determine the distance between two objects. So if you wanted to look at two objects here, you would select the angular separation tool. It will turn into a little ruler there. And you could then select an object, and you could figure out how far it is. You can drag it to another object that might be there. To be able to find out where it is. So that's one thing that you can do there. You will use that in a couple of them. These little menus here are all little 3-bar sets here. You'll sometimes see them in the instructions as the 3-bar menus. There's a number of them. This one has to do with the date and time. It can set you to specific times, like setting you to the moonrise or sunrise for that specific day, using daylight savings time, and so on. To actually change the date, what you want to do is click on the thing you want to change. Like if we wanted to change the month, it's January. We highlight that. Then you can use the arrow keys to change through. So there is the date. We've just changed the date from January the 28th to February the 28th, and then to March. And you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to go back and forth between the dates, either back in time, back to December, or forward in time. If you want to change the day, that changes the month. If we want to change the day, you use the same thing. The arrow keys are really the quickest way one of the quick ways to change it. Years, the same thing. Although in this case, if you want to change it back very far, for example, if you wanted to see what the sky was like on January the 28th of 1900, you can also just type in the numbers as well, and it will change that. It will change that completely. If you want to go very far back, you can click on BCE or CE to change for years current epoch or before the current epoch. Now you change the time the same way. You'll notice that the time is running forward. There is a little, you can change that. Here you can actually stop the time. Now those controls are actually over here on the other side of your location. If you click on the stop button, the little stop button, it will stop time from running, and it will stay at exactly that time until you run it forward again. And you can allow it to run forward at normal time there. And you'll see that there's a 1x here. If you want to change that and you want time to run forward twice as fast or 5 times as fast, you can change that as well. Now you can also change the time directly here by clicking on the day and going forward an hour at a time to watch, for in this case, how the sun appears to move. And you can also change the minutes and the seconds in the same way. Now to set locations, you use this next 3-bar menu here. So if you want to change the location, we use this other 3-bar menu here. You can click on that and change the view from. And you click on that, and that will give you an option to be able to select from other locations, or to even be able to enter locations by zip code or by latitude and longitude coordinates. Now the next 3-bar menu over here, again, controls the time flow relating back to the date and time here. You can change it in real time, which is the default. You can change it 30, 300, 30,000 times faster. And you can also change it to go forward, step forward an hour at a time or a month at a time. So if you wanted to change it to hours and you wanted to step forward an hour at a time, now we're stopped, you can either let it run hours at a time and watch the sun rise, sunset each day, or you can use the step button, the other forward arrow, and that'll go through just each time you click on that, it will go through 1 hour. So you can adjust timing and you can go forward or backward that way. Now the last thing up at the top here is the search bar. Now you can open the search panel here, and there is a menu here selecting what you want to be able to select. There's also a 3-bar menu that you'll be referred to. But when you go to the search bar, for example, if you want to find an object like Orion, it will search. And here, let's go to constellations and search for all the constellations. We want to look for Orion. So you can scroll down here. Here is Orion. And if you want to find and center Orion, you can just double click on it. Now it's giving me a warning here. It's saying it's just not currently visible. And you have options of looking at the best time to be able to see it, or just hiding the horizon and seeing where it is now. Now it will center to Orion. It will take its time. And you can hold down the space bar, it'll get there automatically. And you can see that Orion is there, but it's very difficult to see. I'm going to click this up here to turn off the search results. But if we want to do this, there are some things that we can do in terms of the options. There are some things here over in the view, and that's going to be cut off the edge of your screen on my view, on what I'm recording here. But what it will show is one of these will give you the options to hide the daylight. So we hide daylight, we have turned off the daylight, and now we can see Orion and a number of the stars in it. So you could search for any object. You could search for example, for Jupiter. If we want to find Jupiter, now it highlights here. Our top hit is Jupiter, the planet. So we can click on that, and if we wanted to see the planet or center on it, we can just click on that, and it will take us, double click, and it will take us to Jupiter and show us where it is located in the sky. Now you can also use the information button. If you highlight this, it'll give you some of the information about Jupiter, and you can click on the info button to bring up a box that'll give you a lot more information. Now the last thing I wanted to show here, let's close this again, is the zoom. There is a zoom that's down here in the lower left-hand corner. There is a menu to set various default zooms. So if you want to zoom in with, say, a specific telescope size, like here is a sample 8-inch telescope. And if you decided to zoom in that while we're looking at Jupiter, you'll see that it will zoom you into Jupiter, and you'll be able to see a lot more detail on Jupiter here. So there is Jupiter, and some of these other objects near it are actually some of its moons. So this is Io, Europa, and Ganymede that we can see, and probably over here would be Callisto, the 4 large moons of Jupiter. You can also zoom manually, so if you want to zoom in a little bit further than that, you can use the plus button to zoom in and the minus button to zoom out. And we'll use that in a number of the labs as well. So the whole idea behind this was to really just give you the basic controls that you'll look at and some of the basics that you'll use to hopefully get you comfortable with the Starry Night program. Again, the best thing to get more details is to go over here and do run the tutorial. Take some time to go through that and really familiarize yourself with the controls and get some practice. So that concludes this video explaining the basics of Starry Night 7. And until next time, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.